நம்முடைய தமிழ் மொழி உலகிலேயே மிகவும் தொன்மையான மொழி. எந்த தேசத்திடம் இருக்கின்றதோ அந்த தேசத்திடம் பெருமிதம் பொங்க வேண்டுமா கூடாதா சொல்லுங்க.
செம்மொழி வலையொலி யூடியூப் சேனல். இந்த சேனலின் மூலமாக, அந்த வலையொலியின் மூலமாக பல்வேறு தகவல்களை தினந்தோறும் நாங்கள் வழங்கி கொண்டிருக்கக்கூடிய அந்த நிலையில் சிலப்பதிகாரம் என்ற தலைப்பில் ஒவ்வொரு பகுதியாக வழங்கக்கூடிய அந்த தொகுப்பை முழுமையாக கண்டு பார்க்கலாம்.
This is a continuation of the lecture on Thirukkural and Arthashastra, a case of treacherous plagiarism. In the chapter called Choice of the Right Time, there is a couplet which says that the calm and restraint of the enterprising leader is like the reward, like the rearward steps taken by the fighting ram before charging forward. ஊக்கம் உடையான் ஒழுக்கம் பொறுதகர் தாக்கற்கு பேரும் தகைத்து. In Arthashastra's chapter on guarding against princes, the king is warned against making a prince stay in a frontier forest. There is a danger as from a fighting ram, says Pisuna. Explaining the passage, one of the commentators says that just as a ram taken to the ends of the fighting ring returns to the center with greater vehemence to meet his rival, so the prince might return to attack the king with the help of the frontier chief. On the choice of the right place for a fight with the enemy king, one of the couplets in the particular chapter says, நெடும் புனலுள் வெல்லும் முதலை அடும் புனலின் நீங்கின் அதனை பிற. In the deep waters of a river, the crocodile will be victorious, whereas outside the river it will be beaten by others. On the choice of the right time for a war, it is said, just as a crow may overcome the owl during daytime, a king will succeed easily in his campaigns at the right opportunity. Thirukkural says, பகல் வெல்லும் கூகையை காக்கை இகல் வெல்லும் வேந்தற்கு வேண்டும் பொழுது. Arthashastra, in a section on the ascertainment of the relative strength or weakness of power, place and time, which corresponds to the chapters on knowing the relative strength, knowing the place and knowing the time in Thirukkural, reproduces these two similes. Arthashastra says, of power, place and time, however, power is superior, say the teachers, for one possessed of power is able to counteract the difficulties of marshy or dry region and those of time with cold, heat or rain. Place is superior, say some, for a dog on land drags a crocodile in water drags a dog. Time is superior, say some others, by day a crow kills an owl, at night an owl kills a crow. No, says Kautilya, power, place and time are mutually helpful. While recommending the virtue of forbearance, a couplet says, அகழ்வாரை தாங்கும் நிலம்போல தம்மை இகழ்வாரை பொறுத்தல் தலை. As the earth tolerates the men who delve into her breast, to bear with scornful men is the best of virtues. Kautilya says that a dependent should tolerate the frightful words of a king, being full of forbearance like the earth. What the compiler of Arthashastra has surreptitiously taken from Tirukkural forms the most sensible, rational and decent part of the Sanskrit work, which is otherwise a wicked book teaching the wicked people how to prosper in life. As Winterness has remarked, Kautilya has no scruples whatever in recommending stratagems which can only be called an abuse of religious institutions and a speculation on the credulousness and religiosity of the people. The 4 books from 10 to 13, ostensibly dealing with concerning war, policy towards oligarchies, concerning the weaker king and the means of taking a fort, all these chapters of Arthashastra advocate all kinds of unscrupulous, inhuman atrocities to overcome a weak enemy. Kautilya says, he should strike terror in the enemy with machines by the employment of occult practices through assassins slaying those engaged in something else, by magical arts, by a show of association with divinities through carts, by frightening with elephants, by rousing the treasonable through herds of cattle, by setting fire to camps, by attacks on the tips and in the rear, by creating dissensions through agents appearing as messengers. And he goes on to say, after keeping enemy troops awake at night, a sudden assault, he should slay them by day when they are overpowered by sleep or asleep. Those near should mix poison with the fodder and grass for elephants, and horses or agents appearing as workmen should sell grass or water mixed with poison. When the enemy king has entered the temple, the king should cause a concealed wall or a huge stone to fall on him by the release of a mechanism, or he should cause the image, the banner and the weapons of the deity to fall upon him, or he should carry over to him poisonous smoke concealed by perfume, or he should make him drop down by the release of a pin into a well with spikes or a pit underneath the bed or seat, where the floor is fixed by a mechanism. So, these are the strategies recommended by Chanakya. The 14th book lists the secret practices for the destruction of enemy troops, besides insane ideas and superstitions galore. The smoke of Kritakandala, the lizard, the house lizard and the blind reptile causes loss of eyesight and madness. And he goes on to say, when a night show is going on, one should cut out the udders of a dead cow and burn them in the flames of a lamp. When burnt, he should grind them with the urine of a bull and smear a new jar inside with it. When one takes it round the village leftwise, whatever butter may have been kept there by those villagers, all that comes into it. On the 14th of the dark fortnight, when there is conjunction of the moon with the Pushya constellation, one should insert into the vulva of a bitch in heat an iron signet ring. One should pick it up when fallen of its own accord. Fruits from trees come to one when called with it. Arthashastra doesn't claim any originality, but it declares itself to be a compilation made from earlier works. It has been accepted by Sanskrit scholars that since material from different sources has been used in it, there are differences in terminology in some cases and contradictory statements. The text refers to a number of earlier authorities real and imaginary, historical and legendary. 112 contexts have been identified in which the views of such authorities are quoted. In 25 of these cases, the opinions are attributed to schools of the Shastra, namely the Barhaspatyas in 6 places, the Asunasas in 7 places, the Manavas in 5 places, the Parasaras in 6 places, and the Ambiyas once. In 28 places, the opinions are ascribed to individual teachers, Bharadwaja 7 times, Visalaksha 6 times, Pisuna 5 times, Kaunapadanta 4 times, Vadavyadhi 5 times, and Bahutantri Putra once. In the remaining 59 cases, the opinions are attributed to Acharya, the teachers, a term referring to most or all of these predecessors. The text does not mention anywhere the name of Valluvar, but what is strange is that none of the Sanskrit scholars or critics who have written about the work discuss the possibility of Tirukkural being a source when its presence is evident in so many places. Jolly, Mayer, Keith, Brellor and Stein might not have heard about Valluvar, but Sharma Shastri from Mysore, Sambasiva Shastri from Kerala, Krishna Bhatta from Dharwad, Venkatarangayya from Vijayanagaram, Krishna Rao from Mysore, Rangaswamy Iyengar from Madras and Nilakanta Shastri from Madras, all of whom have written about Arthashastra, would have certainly read or known about Tirukkural, but they are also silent about the nature of Kautilya's indebtedness to Valluvar. The great Tamil scholar Mu Kadiresan Chettiar, who has translated Arthashastra into chaste Tamil, draws our attention to some of the similarities between the two works, but is uncertain about who borrowed from whom, since during his time all the Tamils were made to believe that all the Sanskrit works had been written several centuries before any of the Tamil classics. Now that the stance of the Sanskritists has been thoroughly exposed by the crude Western scholarship on the dates of texts like Manudharma, Kamasutra and Arthashastra, which are found to have been compiled at least to 2 or 3 centuries later than Tirukkural, the indebtedness of those Dharma Shastras to Tirukkural is unquestionable. A.B. Keith has gone on record as saying that it is a very misplaced patriotism which asks us to admire the Arthashastra as representing the fine flavour of Indian political thought, and that it would indeed be melancholy if this were the best that India could show as against the Republic of Plato or the politics of Aristotle. It is unfortunate that A.B. Keith and the other Western scholars who are well versed in Sanskrit literature were not aware of the following statement made by no less a man of letters than Albert Schweitzer in his Indian Thought and its Development. This is what Albert Schweitzer says: there hardly exists in the literature of the world a collection of maxims in which we find so much of lofty wisdom. On the most varied questions concerning the conduct of man to himself and to the world, its utterances are characterized by nobility and good sense. Maxims about joy in activity, such as one would not expect from Indian lips, bear witness to the strength of the world and the life affirmation present in Tirukkural. If only those Western critics who go into raptures over Plato, Aristotle, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius and Spinoza had by chance stumbled upon an English translation of Tirukkural, they would have realized that their idols were no match for someone who lived in the southern part of India at least 2 millennia ago. Thank you.